Beloved friends, today we turn our attention to those you love, to the people closest to you. For some of you, those relationships have not tracked with your own growth as well as you might have wished. For some of you, you actually have a void space in what we might think of as your closer relationships, for you don't have closer relationships right now. They don't exist. For others, you have perhaps consciously chosen or unconsciously chosen not to create partnerships or relationships out of a sense that your emotions and you will settle at some point, and then these things will happen, and then you will find your tribe. We want to start out our conversation today by saying any way in which you are waiting for something to happen does not serve you. We would also like to say something else, and this will be a catalyst for much of what we talk about over the next week together, and that is this. Sometimes the reason that you hold yourself back is you don't have the confidence to create what you really want. Being sovereign is best described perhaps as the way of discovering how to be fulfilled. We have talked about this quite a lot, and really this is about how to become fulfilled in your own unique way, in the ways that really meet you as you are. This might be the most powerful way to think about becoming sovereign, to be more and more skillful and clear, aware, and capable of understanding and creating your own fulfillment. We also want to acknowledge today something unique about the realm in which you are focused, because it is an essential component of your lives. For all human beings, connection is an essential component to feeling happy. What kinds of connections are unique to you? How much connection is unique to you? How you wish to create connection is unique to you. Yet all of you in your embodied human focus share a deep, fundamental need to experience connection in order to have embodied happiness. This is just part of the nature of your realm. The human body is created in such a way that it actually needs touch. The human being, which all of you are in this particular experience of focus, therefore, needs to be connected not just for touch but for many other reasons with other humans. Again, the ways in which you choose to do this and what fulfills you and how much of this you need will vary based on each of you, and your own personal indicators for this are your happiness. We would like you to consider all of these things as we talk today a little bit about the various ways in which you are connected and what ideally we sense would be most supportive and wonderful for you. We would like you now to imagine this inner circle of your life, this day-to-day connection possibility. This would include the people or the animals closest to you, or that space that they might be in if they are not currently there. Imagine this space, however, filled with a few people, or perhaps a few more than a few if you like, and if you wish to put animals in the mix, that too. Imagine this inner circle of your life, the part of your life, the people, the animals if you choose, that you see daily. This is an incredibly joyful circle. You have regular, wonderful, uplifting interactions. You feel entirely supported. There is a deep sense of trust. You have each other's backs. You can count on each other. All the other nuances of this are particular to you. But those are the ones we would encourage you to include. Then there is another circle of connection, what we might call your friends. People you see perhaps weekly or talk to on the phone. People you love dearly who make you laugh, people who really get you. People you share important news with, people you love to support and cheer on. People you comfort when they have had something terrible happen, people who comfort you. People you intrinsically trust. People who respect you and care about your happiness. People you can count on and they can count on you too in all of these ways. Imagine and feel the fullness being generated by considering these layers of connection. Then there is another circle. Let's call them perhaps your acquaintances. They are people you see less often, but you like them and they like you. They know your name and you know their name, and you know something about them more or less depending on how often you see them, but you see them less often. Maybe it's your hairdresser or your accountant, your doctor, people who you see when you go on vacation because they go to the same place you do every summer. People you know online in a casual way. These people never have given you any reason to not trust them. You enjoy them. You feel uplifted. The experience is good to wonderful. They are an additional supportive element of connection in your life. Then there is everybody else. People you have met, people you have not met. Some may fit into these circles but you haven't met them yet. Some you may know well but they don't really qualify these circles if this is the criteria for who is in these circles. That's something to consider. This is a way of considering the fulfillment of your relationships, and since being connected is an essential component to being human and your fulfillment is the pathway to sovereignty, we cannot have this conversation with you without talking about the way in which your relationships currently exist and the way in which your relationships potentially might exist. You see, my friends, taking care of your fulfillment is how you become more unconditional with others and more importantly with yourself. Becoming sovereign and unconditional does not mean spending time with people you don't trust or making people who are unreliable members of your own most treasured inner circle. Being sovereign actually is supported by your circles of connection being much more like what we have just described. Reliable, consciously chosen, created for your joy and the joy of sharing and supporting. Revealing yourself and knowing you will be honored and knowing you will do the same for another is a powerful way in which your world is being uplifted. When you are in that kind of relationship, there is more openness because you are more open and you are how the world changes. How you are you is the only way you can change the world. Since we have shared that connection is an essential element to being human, why not choose to consider all of the relationships in your life and the various layers we have talked about today and see how you might make them something that you treasure. We would like to focus on creating a radiantly happy and fulfilled life, and we would like to focus on how you might do this by consciously creating more connection and support for yourselves. We are not advocating leaving existing relationships, unless you feel that is right for you. We are talking more about how you might view your relationships. The kind of expectations you might have when you envision new relationships that you hope to create, and to consider how you might increasingly harmonize your experience by creating the kind of relationships in your life that will be increasingly sovereign too. All of these qualities that we have described of the ways in which you relate to people in different levels of intimacy, in different rhythms, in different levels of closeness are empowered by sovereignty. There are people in your lives who are sovereign without even thinking about it in that way. They are just people who have learned how to take care of themselves and how to be with others in the way in which both of you feel free. We hope you noticed that when we talked about all of this, we did not talk about who is spiritual. We didn't talk about people who shared your beliefs. We didn't talk about any of that. We talked about the way in which these people can be present in your lives and the way in which you can be present with them. This leaves it wide open for tremendous diversity in the way in which you enjoy creating your relationships. What you enjoy doing. What you enjoy sharing, the kinds of people. There is tremendous opportunity for you to connect with lots of different people, but many of you throughout your experience of awakening have gone through tremendous changes in your relationships. One of the most difficult and painful parts of opening up to a fuller expression of yourself has been handling the emotions that you have felt as relationships moved in and out of your life, as you saw things more clearly, as you discovered that something you thought would last actually didn't, as you discovered your beliefs around these things and began to learn how to let go, how to let things rise and fall, how to be more open to the fluidity, how to identify more with your eternalness. We have talked about all of these things together for a couple of years now. Now we would like to encourage you to consider how would you create the most abundant constellation of connection and support for yourself in your life? What would that look like? What relationships would you like to have that you don't have? What might they be? Today we are hoping you might begin dreaming. Not feeling bad about relationships you have in your life that perhaps don't meet your standards yet. Maybe they never will. What if today you let all of that be just as it is and you consider, what kind of connections do I choose to create now so that I can experience an abundance of fulfillment and satisfy my inherent human desire to share? I am Archangel Michael.